Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back inside Dow Diamond here in Midland, Michigan. Matt Carney and Don Cooper along for the main event. It's the 7th border battle. Team USA, the home team. Team Canada, the visiting team. This is what everybody came to see, and here we go. We've waited a day and a half for this now, and we finally get to see these two teams battle it out.
We got it present. We got it a day earlier than we thought we were going to get it. The weather looks like it's going to hold. We're going to get the game in, and let's see. We're going to see if Team Canada was playing a little possum, and if they're going to show up and bang 25 runs out, or if their offensive woes are going to continue into this game.
You mentioned that, yes, Team Canada coming in here after losing 13-4 to the upstart 22 below squad, which many of us had pegged as the underdog, the least experienced and the least game-ready team of the 5 teams that are here.
Yeah, if Vegas was setting a line, they would have been a double-digit underdog for sure. So, and then they turned around and proved that it wasn't a fluke by forcing, the Team USA, the national team, into extra innings. So, the 22 below team not only showed up, but they showed up and showed well.
We have to give a shout out to Team 22 below manager Darren Deistermars, who was just singing the national anthem here for us before this ball game started. So what a day for him.
Absolutely.
Beat Team Canada, take Team USA to the wire, and then sing the anthem before the border battle. This is the 7th edition. We're very happy to host it here at Dow Diamond, and an interesting name on the mound as well for the U.S. side, on the pitching slab, I should say. Travis Clark getting the start.
Yeah, he's been on crutches for the whole week and hasn't played, and he's been hurt, and so I think this is a little bit of possum on the USA side. It's obviously they lose a little bit offensively with Gino Buck. He is a professional ASA hitter. Travis is a very accomplished hitter, one of the 3 or 4 best hitting pitchers on the circuit. But he's been banged up, and we didn't really expect to see him go. And all of a sudden, he's in uniform, and here he is.
Well, we're glad you're with us wherever you may be tuning in from, either here in the States or north of the border in Canada. It's the border battle, and away we go. And Wayne Parent, the leadoff hitter for Team Canada, gets them off to a good start. A single up the middle to start the border battle. So Parent is on with nobody out. It'll be Frank Henry and then Steele Lewis. The first 3 in the Canadian order.
We should add a little good news for a couple of folks on both of the teams, is they're allowed to. 2 players from the USA Futures teams were called up before this to make their National Club appearance. Brian Zirkel, the roving center fielder, and Mike Umscheid, who we've talked about, the super utility player that I had said earlier I expected him to be on the national team soon. Little did I know it would be an hour after I said it. So congratulations to great play out there by Mr. Wegman.
Yeah, there's a line drive that Brian Wegman runs down in left center field. Well played.
And the same for Team Canada. 2 young men, Justin Carey and Sten Tilburg, also got the call up to their national team. So congratulations to all 4 of those young men, and as well as their families and friends, maybe not expecting them to be in this game after watching them in the previous game, but congratulations to all 4 of them. They are now part of their national teams.
Getting their first border battle experience here, as this is popped into center field by Steele Lewis. Going back is Brandon Dillon, and he makes the catch just short of the warning track.
But this is unfortunately what we've seen of Team Canada. We get a nice leadoff single, and it looks like we've got something brewing right out of the gate, and it's kind of routine fly balls. It's been balls that really haven't pressed the defense a lot, and it's something that they're going to have to adjust to real quick, especially because one of the things that they had going for them is all that lefty power in the USA lineup had kind of been put to rest with this wind. And as this game starts, for the first time in the 2 days, the flags are moving not a nit. We are calm, cool, and collected right now, and it's really not something Team Canada wanted.
There's Justin Pinnell swinging and lining it into right field. Good catch there by Lee Payne. And the United States, a good start. They give up a leadoff hit, but then retire the next 3 Canadian hitters. And that's about as ideal a start as you could ask for if you're a Team USA fan. Now we'll see if Team Canada can match and keep the United States off the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's going to be a statement here, and they're going to have to keep them close because what we've seen is they definitely have the offensive firepower. You know, they didn't really show it today in the 22 below team game, other than the fact that they needed a run in the 7th, and Chris Larson chips the solo home run out, and it looked like they would get it then. So what we need to see out of Team Canada is obviously make all the routine defensive plays. They need to make a couple special ones along the way, and then we're definitely going to have to see them start finding some gaps a little bit, get the ball out of the air, start finding some gaps.
So it's the second baseman, Bryson Baker, who will lead it off for Team USA, and then the aforementioned Brian Wegman will hit second, and Brett Helmer, the extra hitter, will bat in the 3 spot. So United States looking to jump on this Canadian side, and starting pitcher Chris Parr, who after giving up 13 runs to the 22 below side can't be very excited about facing this Team USA squad.
No, and like I said, it'll be interesting. They're you know, were both of these teams thrown off a little bit by the schedule change? You know, it sounds funny, but you know, was their psyche and their mental preparation change? Maybe they were just flat and they're going to play up, because both of these teams, really, the USA Futures team and has outplayed them on paper so far. The way they've played each other, so you know, or on the field, I should say. So it'll be real interesting to see if one of these teams, kind of which real Team Canada or which real Team USA shows up here.
Bryson Baker takes the first pitch for ball 1. There's a big swing and a fly ball out to deep left field. This one is going to go.
And as they started the game last night with Bryson with a solo home run, and I think one of the mistakes they made last night a little bit to let that game hang around was Bryson and Wegman both hit back-to-back solos, and they kind of went a little conservative. They were started counting home runs early, and they made some outs to the right side, trying to do the good team thing. And then after they got a couple innings into it, kind of forgot it and went back to free swing and whacked it all over the yard. So it's going to be interesting to me.
As Wegman looks like he got under this ball to left field. Coming in on it is Knechtel, who makes the catch in shallow left for the first out. So that's a big first out for Team Canada to get through Wegman.
Yep. What they're hoping for is not to see him again this inning, because Team USA is sitting on a big inning. It's very common for them to run what we call a wheel, where everybody comes to the plate at least once, if not close to 2 times. And they haven't had that inning all week yet, so they're sitting on a monster inning. Team Canada is hoping that inning waits until tomorrow to come.
And there's a ball smashed to right field by Brett Helmer, and this ball is gone up on the railing. The first time we've seen anybody hit it out to right all week, and it's Brett Helmer who does it here.
It's got to be a good feeling. Brett's son is, like we talked about earlier, gets to be the bat boy for Team USA, so that's got to be a pretty neat feeling to go pick up Dad's bat and run back to the dugout with it. So there's the 2 solos that got him a little bit off their game last night. I think Brett was swinging for one there. It didn't really bother him. And let's see if they can.
There's a hot shot. Can he beat it out? Yes. Kevin Philby, the catcher, who doesn't run extremely well. It was a great attempt by Dale Brungard over at third base to try and get a glove on that. It just ricocheted away from him, and the U.S. rally continues. With a big right-hander, Denny Crine, first baseman.
Trying to tuck one in that corner over there.
Yeah, fairly good swing to the opposite way, but it goes foul.
probably going to set left center field and go here. He took a swing at the gap to not hit the home run. I think he's going to set left center field and go here, see what happens. If it goes, it goes. It's 2. If not, it's something in the gap. But right there, it's not going to get up. Knuckled the whole way out there. It's actually a little tougher play than I think you may have noticed on television. That ball was dancing all the way. You can see the left fielder out there kind of shaking his head a little bit. That danced the whole way.
2-0. Team USA. And Dale Brungart, the third baseman, is the hitter. First pitch swinging. And that one is just going to get down in front of center fielder Steele Lewis. Lewis hadn't played well. He was in that left center field gap right where that ball landed, but just didn't get a quick enough jump on it.
I think that ball was knuckling a little bit on him too, and that's one of the things we will see with these 52 core balls. If you hit them right in the mouth, and both those balls that Denny Crine hit and Dale did, there was no spin to them. They have a tendency to knuckle out there a little bit, and they're a little bit tougher to pick up. So this will be really interesting here with Lee Payne. He has literally taken 1/2 and 3/4 swings all weekend long, or a week long. Really played the game super well. It's going to be interesting to see now if he doesn't go free swinging here.
Well, and look at that massive
pull
down the right side. He pulls it down the right field line. But yes, warning track power for Lee Payne. And it gets the Canadians out of the inning, and that's a relatively good result if you're Team Canada to only leave that inning with 2 solos.
That's right.
2-0. Team USA through 1 full inning. We'll be back with more softball after this from Dow Diamond. It's the 7th border battle here on YouTube Live. Well. 2-0. Team USA leads through 1 full inning here in the 7th border battle. Matt Carney, Don Cooper, along with you here, and Team Canada trying to get back into this one and put some runs on the board. And it starts with Kyle Knechtel, the 5-hole hitter. Knechtel, first pitch swinging. Grounder to shortstop. Nice play by Luis Reina, who bobbled it for a moment, but regained it and threw on to first just in time.
Very nicely done.
So Reina with a good defensive play there, and it's a quick out for the U.S. side. 4 straight Canadians have been set down here. James Kelly will look to change that. And another great play by Reina. They say no catch, but he gets it onto first in time anyway for the out.
Outstanding on both sides there, both on the play to stay with it and the dig by Big Danny Crine over at first base.
Yeah, you consider Reina threw that one from his backside essentially. Went into a slide and couldn't get much on that throw, but Crine, that big body, comes in handy over at first base. There's a big swing and a fly ball to left by Jeff Zanoli. It's not going to be enough, though, as it hangs up and is caught by Wegman. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Team USA, and the Canadian hitters looking very much like they did in that game with 22 below earlier today.
Yeah, they've definitely not been on their game, and you keep waiting for them to flip the switch and kind of, will the who stole their uniforms, because we know they're a much better offensive team than this. We've seen them play for too many years now, and the youngsters that have come up, we've had an opportunity to see them play. So, this is not indicative of the type of offensive team that they have, and they really have had an inning basically this week. That's been about it. They haven't strung together even 2 or 3 innings. Long enough of stringing together a whole game.
Yeah, because they put up 10 runs in their game against the U.S. Futures yesterday, and then just 4 in the outing against Team 22 below in the first game of the day today. So a combined 14 runs in 2 games.
Yeah, not going to get it done.
So now we see Travis Clark.
This is his first at bat of the event. As like we said, they had him tucked away in the corner. He's been walking around on crutches, and we'll see. Definitely see the limp he has. He's dealing with a foot injury.
We'll see how it affects him at the plate. Not too much there as he hits a line drive over the head of the shortstop and into left. And Clark is on with a leadoff hit for Team USA. So the bottom 3 hitters in the order now: Brandon Dillon, Luis Reina, and Kevin Bazat. We'll look to keep the Team USA train rolling here. 2-0 lead for the red, white, and blue. First pitch swinging is Dillon. Fly ball in the gap in left center field. And you see Clark limping his way to third there. You can definitely tell when he runs the bases that limp is noticeable.
Yeah, that's a ball he probably, he scores on normally. He's a very good athlete, but he's 75-80% right now at best, it looks like. The fear for Canada's got to be that, one, they're not scoring, but Team USA hasn't, like we've talked, haven't had that monster inning that we know they have every event. So, this is the spot where it can get ugly. This is the bottom of the order. 2 on, nobody out. Lulu up to bat, followed by Mr. Bazat. If these 2 roll up here, that big inning that Canada's been dreading could be lurking right now.
So Reina takes a ball and then a strike. So the count is even. Second and third, nobody out. 2-0 United States lead. And Reina hits a fly ball to left. This has a chance. It is off the wall. It'll score both runners. Reina hustling around second. And the throw is offline, and he is in with a triple that scores both Clark and Dillon to give the U.S. a 4-0 advantage.
Here we are with, like I say, we're back to Kevin Bazat to roll the order over with nobody out. So, this is where it can get a little scary. If you can't find it out here, you're at the top of the order, and where do they go from here? You can see Todd Cadenhead, if you can pick it outside of the dugout down there, walking back and forth. One of the new coaches for Team Canada, one of their long-time members. I believe he was a member of every border battle team for them until this year, and down there is one of their big power hitters. It's got to be an interesting transition from him to come over as one of their lead veteran players now to a coach, and I'm sure he'll do a great job down there, but you can see him out on the edge barking out and trying to get him going.
And Bazat, it appears, has found the gap.
That might be an inside the park home run. It's going to be real close. They may hold him because there's nobody out.
And there we go, they do. It's a triple, back-to-back triples from Reina and Bazat. Give the U.S. a 5-0 advantage. And yes, you mentioned Cadenhead. He's been very active all week in just being a vocal presence down there in the dugout for the Canadian side.
And I think it's something they need. We saw them this morning. I thought they were very flat, just the way they carried themselves, and we could see the 22 below team in both of those games were on the edge of their seat. And I'm a big fan of. There's a lot to be said about emotion and feeding off of it. And
there's a fly ball to left field. This has a chance, and it is gone. Second home run of the game for Bryson Baker. This one a 2-run shot. His first was a solo shot leading off in the first inning. And the U.S. leads by a 7-0 margin. And here we go. This definitely has the makings of that big inning.
This is that inning that they've got to be a little bit worried about. That's, you know, it's been brewing, and that might help him right there. That's bad course management, but he might still have got that outstanding play.
Oh, wow, yes. Tailing away from him in center field, Steele Lewis catches up with that fly ball.
Outstanding play.
Thought Wegman may have gotten a hold of that far enough for it to get out over that 400 mark. We've only seen one home run go to dead center, and it's from Mr. Harvey of the Futures team.
Yeah, and that's a ball right there, as we talked about. A couple of plays, they had to make all the routine plays, and a couple of plays they maybe shouldn't. That's one of the ones that falls into that maybe they shouldn't category. It's an outstanding play, but if that gets down, it's another triple, and still nobody out. And, you know, that's what they've got to do. They've got to hope to steal a couple here, limit this to 5 or 6 runs, and go back to hitting. What they can't have it pressed out to, you know, where they go down chasing 10, 11, 12, because as they've shown all week, they just haven't had the offensive firepower, you know, to go run that lead down.
So Brett Helmer, who had a home run in the first, was the first man to clear the right field wall.
I don't think Brett was happy about that, nor Coach Shortline. That was a very, very late call. You can see Brett kind of shake. He said, "It's okay, it's okay." Pup wanted to come get a little of the umpire there. He's hands on the head. That was a very late call, especially on a veteran player like Brett that's earned that. If you're going to call what he thought, don't think he cares.
This has a chance to go again. It doesn't, and what a catch! What a catch by Justin Pinnell, laying out.
There's the second we shouldn't catch it ball.
That's back to back. My goodness. Steele Lewis and then Justin Pinnell. 2 outstanding plays in the outfield.
And you see Brett, that's a veteran right there. His path back through, he's not mad about the catch. He tipped his hat. His path back through the umpire there between the umpire and Frank Henry, just to let him know that was clearly outside. It was clearly late. Not trying to show the umpire up, but just to make sure that he understood that they completely disagreed. And I've earned it. I can say that.
And Kevin Philby will keep the inning going with a ground ball up through the middle. Philby's 2 for 2 in the ball game. My goodness, we should take that video and tweet it to ESPN, because that is a web gem candidate.
Absolutely.
Baseball Tonight does those web gems every night, and of course this isn't baseball, but still.
That's one of them. We saw last night the ESPN play of the night was Madison Shipman from the Pro Fast. I think Denny Crane got enough if it's fair.
This one is foul.
Madison Shipman from the Pro Fast Pitch League made the play of the night last night. It was one of the best plays I've ever seen. Diving shortstop in the hole, then crawled to third for the double up. So they're starting to notice fast pitch and slow pitch over there. A couple years ago in the border battle, both Rusty Baumgartner's home run and Dennis Ruley's play was the play of the day. And so ESPN has picked up some of the border battle stuff in the past. Definitely the defensive plays. And like we've talked about, the offense is what they talk about, but I think your takeaway and the other folks that I've got to work with through these few days have been the defense has been the biggest takeaway, I think, from all of you guys.
It's flashy, it is. And yeah, it's the underrated part of the game, absolutely. But it's those couple plays that you've mentioned it already that Team Canada has made that has kind of kept them in this ball game as Denny Crine straightens this one out and finds the grass in center field.
We could very easily be looking at 7-0, 7 runs in this inning and nobody out. I mean, both of those plays are not close to routine, especially the ball in right field that Mr. Helmer hit. I mean, we could easily be looking at 7 runs in, nobody out, two people on right now, and this is getting completely away. But luckily, the 2 plays for Team Canada were made.
And the head coach Josh Zanoli is going to head out and chat and see if he can stall the Team USA momentum a little bit here with 2 outs.
Well, I think this is a conversation too. Dale's pumped a couple of balls out here. And you can see if you're watching the video, so you can see Steve Shortland's down talking to him about the call on Helmer. Just kind of gently remind him, hey, that's Brett Helmer, that's a Hall of Famer, that's our guy. If you're going to call that, you better call it earlier than that. Don't have him step out of the box. But this is the case now, I think, where you've got Dale's a guy that's been pretty locked in, whacking it around the yard. Lee Payne, although he's hit it well, hasn't really hit for power again because of the conditions. He tried to get one up out of here. His last at bat came up a little bit short. This may be a case where you say, hey, you know, let's not intentionally walk him, but let's play around. And this happened last night when they tried this with Ryan Harvey. You know, we saw a team try to kind of intentionally, unintentionally walk Mr. Harvey, and it didn't pay out a lick. So we'll have to see what. Like here, it didn't pay off at all.
And there it goes, and it is off the wall. Just short of getting out of here. And Dale Brungart slides into second. It's another run for Team USA. It's 8-0 as Kevin Philby easily crosses. Denny Crine now on third. And Lee Payne now into the batter's box from the left side. Second and third and 2 outs.
And here we talked about that wheel. They've been looking. Travis Clark lurking on deck, who led this inning off. So this is their first time this weekend we've seen them send potential to send all of their players to the plate and back to one.
Count is full to Payne now. He swings, and it's a high fly ball into right field. This one is fairly deep, but not deep enough. Justin Pinnell easily ranges under it and makes the catch. But the U.S. strikes for 6 more. They have an 8-0 lead through 2 innings, and now it's getting to put up or shut up time for Team Canada. They have to push a few across here.
They're real close. I think that's a case there, too, that they really didn't want to pitch to Dale. That's why they called the timeout and had the conversation. If you don't want to pitch to him, why pitch to him? And Lee Payne, like I said, has hit it all week. Great young player, but it's still not flying that way as well as it's been flying, and Dale's been pretty well locked. I think that they've got every run's so critical right now to Canada that they've got to look at everything they can do. And luckily, like I said, we saw 2 of the better defensive plays of the week, and the one in right field that was just absolutely top shelf play of the day, ESPN style, that prevented that inning from really getting away from them.
Well, and on the flip side, if you're Team USA, you have to feel great about an 8-0 lead, considering you had those 2 defensive plays made against you.
Yeah.
Yes, it could have been more, but the fact that you have an 8-0 lead, and the other underlying thing here is Brian Wegman is 0 for 2.
Right. Yeah.
And the United States has an 8-0 lead.
Right. Your big guy hasn't gone, and they've made a couple of big defensive plays. So yeah, I mean, like you said, I think you were right on point with the put up or shut up time. The last thing they can do is throw another 0 here, because then again, all of a sudden we get back to, we've talked a lot about it this week, that the run rule is in place, even though this is the border battle. This is the game for the trophy. The run rule is in place, and the next thing you know, you throw another 0 up here.
It's Baker, Ted Baker, the extra hitter, swings and pops it up into left. That's another out, and that's now 7 consecutive Canadian hitters that have gone hitless.
We had a leadoff single, and it was such a promising start, came to a screeching halt. But yeah, I mean, the issue that they're going to be lingering with them here is that if you throw another 0 up here, then all of a sudden the pressure is going to really be on you quickly to even extend the game and try to find a way to grind yourself back into it.
Curtis Niebel may have changed that.
One.
There it is. It's a solo shot.
And again, I don't think they're worried about managing home runs. They haven't flirted with hitting the 10. I don't think they will. I think they would, they'll take them any way they can get them right now.
Well, exactly. It's a spark plug. It's something that gets your offense back going in a positive direction. So anything, a single, double, triple homer right there would have been welcomed. So now Chris Parr, the pitcher, takes the first one. Parr and Rob Sitch, the last 2 hitters in this Canadian order. It's 8-1 now. Team USA. What a play there, made by the pitcher Clark on a line drive right back at his chest.
we've come pretty accustomed to Travis making that play. He's really turned into quite a defensive pitcher and really worked his way up. And
so Rob Sitch,
he really needs to find a way to extend this inning. Just roll it back to the top. We've already seen a nice swing out of Parent. One run, although it might be a moral victory, they're looking for a victory, and one run's not gonna hold off the Wolves here very long. So.
Sitch, one of the few Canadian hitters that goes without batting gloves. Ground ball to the right side. Gobbled up by Baker.
Great hustle.
And yeah, Sitch nearly beat that out on a routine ground ball to second, but
Great
Bryson
hustle.
Baker just makes the play in time. So the Canadians scratch across one, but they cannot do any more than that. 8-1, Team USA with a commanding lead here in the border battle. We'll come back and see if they can add to it after this here from Dow Diamond. Welcome back in here to Dow Diamond. Matt Carney and Don Cooper with you for the 7th border battle. And right now, Team USA, the home team, is all over the visitors from Team Canada. It's 8-1. And Travis Clark, the pitcher, stands in and lines one into left. So Clark, as we touched on earlier, making his first appearance of the week here, and not half bad for his first couple of...
2 for 2 and giving up 1 run through 3, so a little possum's working out here. So you might see Mr. Dillon try to just go right up out of here. He made Travis run around the bases last time, and Brandon may just say, I'm going to get right up out of here and get him off his feet. This is a real scary inning if you're Team Canada right now. That 7 runs doesn't seem like a lot, but you don't want to go hit chasing 14 or 15.
Hot shot, handled at third by Parent, and they get Clark easily at second base there. So
there's one of the ones they need. They need out of here. Even 1 or 2, I wouldn't be happy if I'm Canada. I mean, they need to get a 0. They need to match one of those zeros that they've put up and go back in here and because right now it feels real comfortable for the USA team, even though it's not. It's only 7. I just think both of us sitting there looking at each other, it feels like they're in a comfortable spot.
100%.
You got
Luis Reina.
And that's not going to help the cause.
Line drive down the right field line, sliding, stopped by Pinnell to keep it from rolling by him. And he holds Reina to a single. Going first to third is Dillon. So
and here we are back to that Mr. Bazat to roll it over again. And again, Kevin's a very, very good offensive player. He's a phenomenal defensive player. That's what he's known for. So this is a case where you got to try to find a way to get an out here out of the great defensive player and see if you can hold him off, because Bryson Baker and Mr. Wegman are lurking. And like you said, Wegs is.
And there's a fly ball into right. This will be enough to get 1. As Dillon trots home on the sacrifice fly from Luis Reina. So the United States gets another one. It's 9-1. But there are now 2 outs for the top of the lineup. So a victory for Team Canada there, getting.
Yeah, and that's what you got to focus on. Kevin, like I said, Kevin Bays, that's a very good offensive player, very good all-around player. Obviously, to be on this team, he's top-shelf defensive player. So, but you got to find a way to get it out somewhere. And Bryson Baker doesn't make many of them.
And that one just skittered foul, yes.
And the other issue with it is, like you said, Brian Wegman lurking behind Bryson Baker is already 0 for 2. It's not often he goes 0 for 3. So, this, again, right now it's a great inning if they can find a way to get it out here. Great inning, gave up the 1. Let's go chop this thing down. The last thing you want to do is see Wegman come to the plate and chip in a 3-run home run. And, again, then all of a sudden we start talking about that run rule that's lurking out there in a couple of innings. And
amazing how a stretch of 2 hitters here could really change the mentality either way for both sides.
Ooh, I'm not sure I could have taken that. Frank Henry, the catcher from Canada, he doesn't. He's asking him where was that at. I'm not sure where that ball missed at. I'm really not. He didn't call it an illegal pitch to say that he was off the side of the rubber. That looked like a strike, to be honest with you.
And Bryson Baker takes advantage. Lines it into left field for a single.
And you can see Frank Henry shaking his head at Brett Helmer saying, yes, it was. Yes, it was. So, and both coaches are up having a conversation right now through the catcher. This is a creative way to ask the catcher, where was that? What do you think? Without, we're not arguing balls and strikes. We're just talking to our catcher right now, although you're trying to get your point across.
So now the aforementioned Brian Wegman.
And a little bit of that you wonder about, could that have been a little bit of the case of, the USA coaches did a good job of, politely working for a pitch they didn't think.
And Wegman trying to end his 0 for 2 stretch. This has a chance, and it is gone. Just like you predicted there, partner.
That's the problem.
Wegman steps up and goes deep, a 3-run shot, and the United States is up 12-1.
I think this is probably a trip out by Josh. I got a feeling he may stay out there until the home plate umpire comes out. I think he really wants to have, a private conversation with him. You can see Todd Cadenhead over here definitely having a conversation. I really think they think that was a strikeout. It was close. It was one of those close enough to, and you never know, And it always seems like that. If you're up 20, that pitch doesn't bother you so much. But when you're struggling to score offensively, every out you can find right now is tough to come by.
Well, exactly, you think
it's a long huddle, and I think this is a purpose huddle. This is a quality coach right now saying, you're going to come out here so I can stick up for my pitcher in front of my whole team. We're going to have a little conversation. You can see him turn as soon as he gets there.
Bingo.
There it is. I want you out here. I'm not trying to show you up, and there's nothing wrong with this. And a quality umpire to be at this level has to accept that a little bit and say, hey, he's trying to have a professional conversation with me, And you can see him chirping a little bit.
He's still talking as he walks back.
Turn and walk away now. And like we talked about, it's always tough. And I found myself in this situation coaching the USA team. The futures team is that I'm not normally the most polite guys with umpires, and you have to realize you've got, it's a different situation. You've got your country's colors on, and you have to carry yourself a little, and it's tough. It's tough to turn that switch off and just say, hey, I'm going to be a little different right now. I think if this is at the Canadian Nationals or this is somewhere else, he's probably still out there arguing and has been ejected by now, and in his opinion, rightfully so.
And Helmer hits a line drive that somehow made its way through the second baseman, Rob Sitch. Looked like Sitch had a beat on that ball, and then at the last second,
dove on him. But yeah, and there's the plays that and you wonder a little bit. We saw them make a couple of just absolutely phenomenal defensive plays. Now it's 12-1. Are they second-guessing what's going on a little bit now and a little lack of focus there?
Well, and there's a little bit of softball karma coming back towards Mr. Helmer there, who got robbed with the absolute web gem in right field and now gets a break.
Very good point.
On the line
very
drive.
Good point right there. It all evens out, I guess, sometimes. That's a great point. They say the ball never lies. So now we're going to see, looks like Chris Larson come in and pinch run for Brett Helmer. And I can tell you this is not something you normally see. Chris Larson does not normally run for anything but an ice cream truck. I say that with all love and affection as a fellow fat guy, but this is not something that Chris Larson typically does.
Maybe just trying to give the big guy a break.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is an upgrade over Brett at this point in his life, but Brett used to actually, believe it or not, to see the big man. When I first met Brett, he was roaming the outfield and roamed the outfield very, very well. So, he still runs well for a guy that's in his mid-40s and can bench press and squat the world. So
brings in Kevin Philby. Takes the first one. Got under that one.
Missed it.
And this time Sitch is going to make the catch to get Team Canada out of the inning, but the United States strikes for 4 more. It's 12-1. And now the Canadian side with 2 more at-bats left, essentially, to get this thing to a manageable deficit and avoid the run rule.
Well, yeah, and the fact is that we're talking 20 runs after 4, so it's not an unsurmountable number. If they throw a 0 up here, you're looking at a 9-run spot there, and if you give these guys that and they see a little blood in the water there, they may find a way to go get the 9 right there. So that's the other
absolutely.
side of it. Again, get it to single digits to start with. It's amazing how Psyche does it. Let's get 2 or 3 on the board, get it down to a single digit number, and let's see what happens. But they can't leave it where it is. And we see the switch that we've seen all weekend. So this Chris Greiner goes into catch here. So it looks like that Coach Shortland is staying consistent with his plan. We thought earlier it was, we discussed it, maybe he was making that move after he got the 2 big lefties a couple of at-bats because of the wind. But obviously the wind is a non-factor tonight. So it looks like this is just part of his plan to send Chris Larson and Chris Greiner out there in this spot. 2 obviously uber qualified hitters and also younger players that, quite frankly, we're going to be around, I think, on this scene for a while with Brett, in his last couple of seasons, I think, as a full-time player. And you never know, when a guy that's won everything, there's nothing left for Brett to win. He's won from long-haul bomber tours to major World Series rings to everything, that there's a point where he's got a full-time job as the director of promotions for Easton Slow Pitch, and might just say that enough traveling's enough traveling. I'm going to watch my baby boy and baby girl and call it a career. He's earned it.
The leadoff hitter Parent hits a fly ball down the left field line that just barely stays in play.
And you saw the Lulu kind of back away a little bit, and they start talking. That's a very similar ball that we saw Louis Reyna and Brian Wegman run into each other a year ago and break Lewis's leg. So I've often wondered, every time a ball like that happens, if they communicate a little bit more, if a thought goes through your head when that happens.
So the Canadians, with just 2 hits to show for it right now, trailing 12-1, in need of an offensive spark. And Frank Henry, second hitter, they're at the top of their lineup now.
And Frank's really been there consistent. He had the big home run to keep the Wolves away earlier, today and yesterday's there. I really think now with Todd Caden head over there and the coaching staff, and there goes Mr. Henry right now.
This one is up over the wall, yes.
Gets him a run, gets him a point, as we say, but he's really kind of I think he's by position now, him and James Kelly, to kind of take those roles of the leadership now that Todd Cadenhead's moved into a coaching role. And not that Todd won't still oppose his leadership. I think there's different leadership comes sometimes from the players as well as the coaches.
So it's a 12-2 ball game. The deficit is 10 for Team Canada. They have to have the free swinging mentality at this point, down 10 and with only 2 home runs to show for it.
Well, the thing about it is, it's funny how you go up there whacking it. Great hustler right here for a stand-up triple. Thought for a second the way he was coming at third, he was going to think about trying it, and instead went into a slide. It's a situation where you hump a few balls over, you roll some over in the gaps, trying to hit them out. Just because you are swinging for one doesn't mean it's going to go.
So that's back-to-back hits for the first time in the ball game for Team Canada, and the first hit that it has not been a home run by way of Steele Lewis with the triple. So Maybe a spark now for the Canadian offense. We'll see if they can keep this momentum rolling here as Justin Pinnell steps up and flies one out to right. This one has a chance, and it's gone. Another home run to right field. This one into the auxiliary area where the batting cage is stored. That one just crept over the wall, and
there you go. Now we're into the single digits again here, and now they can go to work a little bit here. So large charges. Nice to see how many Canadians have come down. The contingency traveled down in Groves here to watch their teams play. It's awesome support for the Team Canada team, and it's probably not a bad thing for the Midland economy around here.
Absolutely. So Team Canada matches the United States with the 3 home runs aside now. It's 12-4. The U.S. with the lead. Kyle Nechtel, the batter, and he hits one out to left. This one is not going to be deep enough. It's a lazy fly ball that's caught by Brian Wegman for the second out of the inning. So now James Kelly, the batter, and you can't stop here. We'll see if Kelly can keep it going.
At least they've shown a little heartbeat over there, and you can see the energy, and the team's back up on the rail, and it's a step. Now let's see if James can keep it going. There he does.
And there's a line drive into left. Kelly around first. Takes a wide turn but comes back. So it's a single for James Kelly. And yes, you mentioned the intensity. Yes, the back-to-back, the 3 straight hits have allowed the Team Canada bench and the rest of the coaching staff to kind of light a fire, so to speak, with their words. And get these guys back.
That's down too.
And yep, Jeff Zanoli, excuse me, with the line drive into right. And now that's 2 on for Team Canada with 2 outs. And now if Ted Baker free swings here and knocks one out, and all of a sudden you're looking at a 5-run ball game.
Absolutely. Looks like we have Oliver Forrest go in and pinch run for Mr. Zanoli, who like we said, I haven't seen a report, but I've noticed a little limp to him. He runs real well normally. I think he's battling a little injury, a leg or foot injury, so we've seen him kind of sparingly played a little bit this week.
Ted Baker is the hitter. Gotta believe he's thinking home run out to left here. He takes a ball on the first offering. Tries to go the other way and does. It's a fair ball down the right field line. 1 run scores. Here comes the second runner, Forrest, and he's in. It's a 2 RBI double for Ted Baker. And all of a sudden, it's 12-6.
That's what they did. This is the inning that they've been waiting for all week long, and it came at the right time. They were about 1 more 0 away from not having a week.
And Curtis Niebel, who already has 1 home run today, can't make it 2. Almost a great play by Wegman up against the wall, but he can't make the catch. Another run scores for Team Canada, and it's now a 12-7 ball game. And now Coach Zanoli is out talking with the home plate umpire. We'll see. And here is the first national team at bat for Sten Tilburg. Getting the call up.
Got to be a little bit of an anxious moment for him. A 2-out spot here. Chance to write a little history for himself.
We saw Tilburg in the previous game with the Canadian select squad, and He, along with Justin Carey, earning call-ups on the Canadian side for this game, and he probably swung a little bit aggressively there and was trying to do a little too much and popped it up to first base. As expected. So there we go, a 6-run inning for Team Canada. They are right back in this one. They've trimmed the deficit to 5, and now the U.S. kind of has their first test now of how will they respond.
How do we come right back here and, are we going to make this a quick and easy night, or are we going to grind this thing out? And as we've seen them earlier today, they let a team hang around and got themselves in trouble and had to, bail themselves out late. So what happens here? So, again, all they're looking for is try to win an inning here. You don't have to go out big. Just see if you can win an inning.
Yeah, the Canadian side scores 6, you score 7, and all of a sudden we're right back in the same conversation.
Yeah, just go win an inning here. That's all we're talking about. So,
again, we talk about breaking it down to its simplest parts again, like we talked about earlier.
And we talk about it all the time. I've yet to lose a game where I won every inning. So
exactly. Yeah, you win every inning by 1 run. You're winning by 9.
Yeah, so, or 7 here.
Or 7.
7 this week for you. 9 in a few days when the boys return from their road trip.
Yes. Loon's out in West Michigan right now playing the Whitecaps. Fellow Midwest League Eastern Division foe, in-state foe here for our parent club, which is out of town and has graciously allowed these softball teams to come in and use the facilities while the team is away. And here we go. It's Denny Crine leading it off. Crine 1 for 2 in the ball game. Lines it back up the middle, and it is down for a single. Big guy, certainly not a guy you would expect to take extra bases.
No.
Unless that ball is hit in the gap. You're looking at a single there, but
especially with Big Dale behind him, who's just been pretty well locked this week. That's a good chance he's looking to get him 2 right here. Danny's thinking, I'm fine with that. Just flick it over that wall out there, and I'll turn and walk home.
And did he do it? Maybe. Yes. It's a 2-run shot. Denny Crine can cut the home run trot short. It's a 2-run shot for Brungart. So now it is a 14-7 ball game. The United States gets 2 of those 6 Canadian runs back with 1 swing from Brungart. It's the 4th home run for the States, as this is a line drive into right field. And Lee Payne 0 for 3 now. Tough stretch for him.
Yeah. And he was hitting it real well earlier, too, spraying it all over the park.
So now the pitcher, Travis Clark, who on the opposite side of the coin has been 2 for 2 in the ball game.
He says, who needs BP? Who needs warm-up game? Just throw me in the big game and I'll go to work, coach. Of course, as we talked about, the announcer's jinx, you talked him right into that. You owe him an apology later, I guess.
I probably do. As Travis Clark flies out to left field for the 2nd out of the inning. Not going to be 3 for 3, unfortunately. And, yep, we've talked him up plenty here in the first few innings, especially considering he's fighting that foot injury and has been limping his way around the bases.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's Brandon Dillon.
Been on base twice today, hits this one down the left field line and just foul.
Oof.
So Dillon with home run power to left, but just could not keep it fair. Swings at this one, straightens it out this time, but a nice sliding catch by Kyle Mechtel. And Team Canada settles down after the home run from Brungart to retire the next 3 United States hitters. It's 14-7, the U.S. leads. Through 4 complete innings. We'll have the 5th inning for you next. Stay with us right here on the YouTube live stream from the border battle. Welcome back to beautiful Dow Diamond. Matt Carney, Don Cooper, joining you here for the 7th border battle between the United States and Canada. Right now, the U.S. team, a 14-7 lead over the team from up north, the Canadians, and Canada, after having a very good inning its last time up, will look to duplicate that here. Rob Sitch, the first batter, tries to dive into first base and cannot make it.
I never quite figured that out. Every coach would tell you running through the bases, you know, we're taught that from day one, you're faster. I know it looks like an effort thing, but it's amazing how many guys we see with torn thumb ligaments and everything else on that play, and it's pretty well been proven you are faster running through the base.
Well, and Sitch has done it twice now as he's hit the ball to the right side and just barely not beating it out. And the other thing about diving into first base, you don't give the umpire an audible sound that they can listen for with the foot hitting the bag. And obviously the umpires never like to make excuses about calling guys safe at first base because not calling guys safe because they dive. As this one is hit to the right side, and that's another out there as Wayne Parent, the leadoff hitter, goes down. But every umpire will tell you that it's much easier to call a guy safe or out when you can hear the audible sound of their foot hitting the bag than when they're diving into it. When you see the first baseman's leg shielding you from seeing the runner, and obviously with Big Denny Crine over there, it's a big shield. 2 outs in the inning. Frank Henry, the catcher at the plate, watches the first one outside. And the second one again in almost the same spot. Home plate umpire stopping things for a brief moment there before the pitch is thrown. And this one is hit high and deep to left, but not deep enough. It hangs up for Brian Wegman. And that's a 1-2-3 inning for Team USA, just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, we're right back to where the run rule is back in place. You know, we're looking at an 8-run inning, which they flirted with it. It's right here again. So, you know, all that work with the 6 kind of got coughed back up with the 0.
Yeah, it's been 3 zeros in 5 innings for Team Canada, and it doesn't really matter who you're playing here in this tournament. If you put up 3 zeros in 5 innings, you are going to be in trouble.
Yeah, it's a bad spot. That's proved out all day.
So the Canadians, with some work to do here on the defensive side to quiet the United States. The U.S. has not been shut down in an inning yet. So if the United States can continue that mentality and yeah, score at least a couple every inning. They're looking to be in a very good spot, even if they don't get the run rule,
right,
to win this ball game.
But here we are right now, kind of we talked about that big inning that swung a little while. Here we are back with Luis Reina leading off and Bezat. If those two reach again, here we are 2 on, nobody out to the top of the order. That's where that 6, 7, 8 run inning comes from, and here they are. So I think it's paramount for Team Canada to find a way to get one of these two guys out, which is not an easy thing to do with either one of these two. But whatever you can do, find a way to get one of these two.
So Reina digs in and takes an illegal offering to start it out. Takes that one inside and draws a walk. Did not see a strike in that at bat, and Reina down to first base, and now Kevin Bezat with a hit here can set the United States up in a great spot. First pitch to him, lines it up the middle, over the head of the second baseman, the middle infielder, Jeff Zanoli.
Great swing right there by Mr. Bezat. And here we
Stayed
are.
behind it, and yeah.
Here we are, top of the order.
This is not where you want to be if you're a Canadian right now, that's
no,
for sure.
And the thing is, they're close enough now. This is what happens when all of a sudden, they get 4 or 5 across with nobody out, and they'll start sensing it over there, and they'll start counting those runs down, and they're not going to be afraid to use it, a couple of solos at the end if they have to get there. So this is crunch time right now.
14-7 U.S. leads, and that could be much bigger after this. This one is gone. A 3-run shot for Bryson Baker, his 3rd home run of the ball game. United States now with 5 home runs, and it's 17-7.
Well, and here's the situation now. Now they don't have to count them. They can hit 5 solos in a row and call this a night. So there's no reason for any of these guys to change their swings right now. It's go to whacking. They can count them down, and that's when it gets scary. Is they don't have to think right now. It's just react and hit it. And just like you saw right there, there's one of them.
And there it is, another one, no doubt, over the left field wall, back-to-back. Brian Wegman, his 2nd home run in 2 at-bats. After that 0-for-2 stretch, he's proving why he is who he is.
Right, and now, like I say, what we're going to see now is we're, the old, we need 4, we got 4, so.
See what Brett Helmer can do.
Well, it's Chris Larson. Big Larson's in that spot now, so that's why we got Larson and Greinert hitting in the Helmer-Philby spots.
Count is loaded up here to Larson. And he takes it way back to left. And this one is gone. 3 straight for the United States team. It's 19-7.
And they're still with 3 to hit, so you're a very uncomfortable spot right now if you're Team Canada. The one thing they got going for him is Chris Greinert has not hit it well this week yet. He's hit a couple of balls hard, a couple of defensive plays, but hasn't been able to get a ball in the air, so maybe they can keep that streak alive on him.
But with Denny Crine and Dale Brungard waiting behind him, those 2 guys, certainly guys that have hit it well and have reputations who can hit it out.
Yeah, I mean that's why I say this is where the power part of the U.S. lineup comes into play right now. You've got Wegman hitting in the long haul bomber tour tonight. You had Larson just hit one out hitting tonight. You have Philby who will be hitting in it, who's being pinch hit for by a guy who is hitting in the home run derby tonight. So, and then you follow up with Denny Crine, who's won the long haul bomber tour a couple of times, behind that. So, and then Bubba, who's hitting in it tonight. So, I mean, that's the power that we've talked about. And let's see if it comes to roost right now.
5 runs already on the board in the inning for the United States. It's 19-7. They need 3 more runs to finish this ball game early and win via the run rule. And they still have yet to make an out in the inning.
Yeah, so
this has to be the best spot you can be in as a hitter, right? The free swinging mentality.
Well, and he struggled all. I mean, Big Chris wants to go find somewhere to hide. It's happened to all of us. We've all been in that spot where nothing seems to work for you, where you can't find it. You've been in the spot where you can't make it out, and sometimes you've been in a spot where you can't find a hit.
So now another pinch hitter on the U.S. side. It's number 38, Donovan Pokraka. Coming off the bench. But like I was saying before, the mentality of not thinking, the mentality of just being able to go up and...
You're just whacking right now, and you saw Chris actually overswing there instead of... Sometimes that'll bite you a little bit, especially when you're struggling a little bit. He's a guy that, when he's really locked into home runs, he's swinging at about 75%, and he jumped at one there trying to hit at 5,000 feet when it only needed to go 340 feet. So, happens to everybody, but that's the nice thing about here for Devo coming off the bench. Not a lot of thinking to do here. Just go find one, pick it out, and hit it real hard. Where it goes, it goes.
And he gets under it. Foul territory, sliding attempt.
New life.
Made by Nebel, but he cannot get it. So yes, a break for Pokraka. To see if he can straighten it out and find a home run swing here. 19-7, the United States leads. That time he hits it off the end of the bat the other way. And a lazy pop out to right field where Justin Pinnell hangs out, and there are 2 away.
Now batting number 13, Dale Brungart.
So now Dale Brungart, who had a home run in his last at bat, looking for that again here.
Might have
Gets
one.
a hold of this
a little
one.
bit, but no, it's going to stay in the yard. A little bit behind it.
Warning track power, so after a thunderous start, the United States comes back down to earth.
Left the door open for him. You got to try to put him away there. Crazy things happen. You know, it's a 12-run lead, and they've struggled offensively, but you got a clear path there to end this thing. Don't let them hit again, and you hope if you're Team USA, if you're one of their members, you're hoping that doesn't come back to bite you a little bit.
Well, and you see the Canadians running off the field. They are pumped up right now.
Yeah, they know they got
excited.
They got a second life. I would imagine most of them thought they weren't going to get to hit again after that start, so they definitely got a second lease on life here a little bit.
They realized they got away with one there, and now we'll see what the U.S. can do defensively and see if the Canadians have another rally left in them. It'll be Steele Lewis, who is the first hitter scheduled for Team Canada. This is the other thing that they're probably excited about, the fact that they have the heart of their lineup.
Yeah, right here. Here's their chance. Like you said earlier, do or die. Here we go.
The 3, 4, and 5 hitters, and then on down through, scheduled for Team Canada. Steele Lewis, who has already homered in this game. Looking for that again here. This is the 3rd time through the Canadian order. They trail 19-7. 12-run deficit, but as we've said all along, stranger things have happened.
No, and that's why I'm a big fan. Is you don't want to give them that second bit of life right there. You know, you've given it to them, and stranger things have happened for sure, especially against Team Canada, who struggled some with power. But here's a ball right now in the gap. Is it going to hang for them? It is.
It is.
You know,
yes.
They've got a full allotment of home runs to go whacking with. They don't have to think at all. All they've got to do is go get in the box and whacking around the yard.
Team Canada, the right fielder, number 3, Justin Pinnell.
So Lewis, a fly ball out. Nice play by Brandon Dillon there to track down the fly ball in center field. One away for Justin Pinnell. Ground ball right side of the infield. Gloved by Bazat, the middle infielder, and he makes the play over to first.
Now batting the left fielder, number 41, Kyle Nechtel.
And now again, all of a sudden, the fortunes have changed.
They have turned.
You've got Nechtel coming up here, and you cannot put a goose egg up here 2 runs short of the run rule. And that one gets through under the glove of Denny Crine, and a base hit for Nechtel, who it appears slipped.
Sniper got him.
As he was coming into the bag. It took him a second to get up.
I think the only thing that might have been hurt on that was his pride.
He'll certainly take some ribbing from his teammates when he comes back to the dugout.
But there's a chance
after that episode.
Big James Kelly, one of their leaders and top shelf players in the world. Here's a chance to get him, back within. It's not over yet, so here's a chance at a big swing, especially if he can poke one over that wall.
And he's not going to do that here. The play from the third baseman Brungart over to second. And that gets the United States out of the inning with no blood. It is still 19-7, and now here we are. The United States needs 3 runs to end it.
Yeah, the thing that they got going for him too is obviously Gino Buck's now into the Travis Clark spot. Travis was hitting it, but obviously Gino brings you a huge power bat in that lineup. So they're right back to that 1 or 2 guys. One guy reaches and Gino's up, and you're right back into that same spot. So
again, with a complement of home runs left to where
three they need 3, got 3, so no one's got to worry about anything. So it's go whack it time here. And again, as funny as it sounds, if you're Team USA, you want to end it right now. Not that you're trying to prove a point or not that you're trying to do something. The fact is, crazy things happen in this game.
Exactly.
If you have a chance to win it, win it. Let's not let them have another at bat. Let's not let them come up there, and you just never know what's going to happen. I've seen it. I've been up 25 in a game and been run ruled in that same game where it's flipped around on me, and it's a 45 run swing. So it's a crazy game, and you just never know. So that's like I say, Team Canada got a second lease on life that last inning, and quite frankly didn't use it. Now they've got to see what happens here, and
in an offensive game, no lead is safe.
No lead safe, especially here. I mean, there's no lead safe here, and especially when teams have home runs. And
Lee Payne stepping in 0 for 3. And he will beat the throw, and it won't even matter as the throw mishandled at first by James Kelly.
I think he may have been safe on that, even if Big James picks it. It was going to be a close
exactly.
play.
It would have been close to not even mattering whether James Kelly picked that ball or not. Again, good hustle out of the box by the U.S. team. We've seen that all night, putting pressure on.
Now you got big Gino Buck in there, and so I mean he's thinking one direction here, and it's not the band. and then the kids behind him get to fight for that one swing. So the one thing about Gino, he has a ton of power to right center field. He's one of the rare guys he's not a dead red home run hitter. So sometimes I think he doesn't. He's just going to try to go out of here to dead center field. That's a tough route.
Gives us a ride. Not far enough, though. tagging and advancing to second is Payne.
Just your average 385-foot fly ball.
So yes, Gino Buck unable to get the U.S. closer to ending it there. Now it's Brandon Dillon. Maybe it's time for the bottom of this order to think about ending it the unconventional way with base hits. And there's one base hit. They're going to hold Payne at third. So now one swing truly does end it.
And I'll tell you right now, little Louis Rainier, the pound for pounder right now, would love to be that guy. He flourishes in these situations. You know, he's not a big guy. Josh isn't always going to make another trip. He's thinking, hey, it worked last time. You know, we had Big Chris in the box. We went out and had a conversation, whatever it was, and it worked.
We'll see if it works again here. It's obviously it's a desperation move here. That's about the only thing that the Canadians can do. Yes, is try to slow down the momentum of this hard-hitting American side, and if they can do it again here and get it into the final inning with a chance, then of course you're.
Looks like we might even get a pitching change just to show them something different. The old, you know, Texas Hold'em analogy, a chip in a chair. All Canada wants is one more shot at it and see what happens, and trying to find a way to stay in there. And to do that, they've got to massage a couple of outs here.
So it's number 24, Jeff Gare, who will come off the bench and throw for Team Canada. First and third, and one out for Team USA. They lead 19-7, 3 runs away from putting the border battle on ice.
They're looking to win 6 out of the first 7 of these events. It's hard to believe this is the 7th year of it. I remember the first one, and it seems like it was about 7 hours ago, not 6 years ago.
6 years ago.
Kelly McEwen's Brain Trust, who got a bunch of us involved, who was at that time heading up some stuff at ASA. He's now a VP of the Oklahoma City Thunder.
So it's Luis Reina.
And he missed it a little bit.
Yes, puts a charge into it, but it's not going to be deep enough. It is deep enough to score 1. As Lee Payne comes in on the sac fly.
This is a really big at bat here. Again, like we talked about, Kevin Bazat, you know, is a very, very good offensive player. He's not a big power guy, but Bryce Baker and Brian Wegman, the two lurking right behind that, are that. So this is a spot right now where, you know, if you want that chip in a chair and another shot at it, you've got to find a way to get Bazat out, because your odds are going to go down in a big hurry if you're going to put Bryson Baker in this box.
20-7, the United States with a 13-run advantage.
Legally flat, and that's last thing you want to do is walk him to get to Bryson.
Bazat.
I think he just did. I think he got.
There's a liner through the hole.
He threw a flat pitch to Bazat, which he likes, so that was probably ball 4 anyway. But Bazat will take the base knock and move on.
He's 3 for 4 in the ball game, and now here comes Bryson Baker, who can end it with one swing. He's already got 3 bombs in the game.
Just pick your poison here too. You really can't walk him and put the winning run on second base to get to Weggs, even though Weggs made a couple of outs. But you know, you're just in a spot here where you got to hope that Bryson misses and you get to live for another day.
And it missed a little off the plate there. Ball 1. There's a fly ball to left. Is this going to do it?
No.
It's off the base of the
It's
wall.
still gonna do, got a feeling it's still going to do it, though, because they're not going to pick it up and throw him out.
There's the final 2 runs. And yes, it is still going to do it as Team USA goes into the handshake line. They are victorious in border battle number 7. They've now won 6 of these 7 matchups against Team Canada. The final score 22-7 in favor of the United States. And this was a tale of 2 tapes here, Don, and it was essentially a juggernaut attack by the U.S. 1 through 11 that Canada just could not stop.
Yeah, it was what Canada was afraid of, was that could they hold off the power? Could they hold off the offense? And they couldn't. And this is a case where I think some people will question, hey, Team Canada, this would be more competitive on a smaller diamond. And I know I believe next year the event is moving back to Oklahoma City for a year, which I think it's a shame to leave this beautiful stadium. But it's going to move back there to be played on a smaller ballpark for a year. And does that help them? But I think the fact is that Team Canada has to start looking at a couple of things differently. This is the 7th year of it. It's evolved. We've played now in big parks, and we're going to continue to play big parks. The game has moved to big parks. They've got to find a way to adapt to that. They've got way too much talent top to bottom, way too much talent